What happened on that field was not just a baseball game. It was a statement, a declaration, a reminder to every team, every manager, and every fan watching around the world that when Shohei Ohtani steps into the batter's box, the rules of baseball simply do not apply the same way they do for everyone else. The 2026 World Baseball Classic had barely begun. The opening round had just started. Fans were still settling into their seats, still adjusting their expectations, still warming up their voices. And then, in one single swing, Shohei Ohtani silenced every doubt, erased every question, and reminded the world exactly why he is the most dangerous player on the planet. A grand slam, 5 RBIs, an opening statement so powerful that even the opposing manager, the man tasked with stopping him, could not find the words to describe a solution. Instead, he stood in front of the cameras and said the words that are now echoing across every baseball broadcast, every sports channel, and every social media platform on Earth. There's no way to stop him. Those 5 words. That is what Ohtani does to opposing teams. He does not just beat you. He makes your own manager admit defeat before the series is even over. Stay with us because what happened at this WBC opening, what Ohtani did, what was said afterward, and what it means for Japan's campaign going forward, is something every baseball fan on the planet needs to hear. To understand just how significant this moment was, you first need to understand the weight of the World Baseball Classic itself. This is not a regular season game. This is not even a playoff game between 2 MLB franchises. The WBC is something entirely different. It is national pride. It is the flag on your back. It is your country watching you from living rooms, from bars, from stadiums back home, hoping and praying that you represent them with everything you have. And no player carries that weight more visibly, more gracefully, and more powerfully than Shohei Ohtani when he pulls on the Japan jersey. Ever since his legendary WBC performance in 2023, when he struck out his own Los Angeles Angels teammate Mike Trout to seal Japan's championship, the world has known that Ohtani transforms when he wears that uniform. Something shifts inside him. The competitive fire burns differently. The focus sharpens to a level that even his regular season brilliance cannot fully capture. So when the 2026 WBC opening round began, every scout, every manager, every analyst had Ohtani circled on their scouting report. Every opposing pitching staff had spent weeks preparing for him. Every defensive alignment had been constructed with one purpose in mind: stop Ohtani. And yet, none of it mattered. The situation was already tense when Ohtani came to the plate. Japan had been working the count, grinding through at-bats, applying the kind of disciplined offensive pressure that makes opposing pitchers uncomfortable. The bases were loaded. The crowd inside the stadium was electric. Millions more were watching from screens around the world. The pitcher, one of the most carefully prepared arms in the opposing rotation, had done everything right up to that point. He had mixed his pitches. He had worked the corners. He had avoided the zones where Ohtani punishes mistakes. And for 2 pitches, it looked like the plan might hold. Then came the 3rd pitch. It did not matter what type of pitch it was. It did not matter where it was located. Because when Shohei Ohtani decides a pitch is his, there is nothing a pitcher can do once the decision is made. The swing was compact, explosive, and perfectly timed. The crack of the bat echoed through the stadium like a thunderclap. Every head in the building turned simultaneously, tracking the ball as it climbed into the night sky. Gone. Grand slam. For runs. And just like that, the complexion of the entire game changed in a single moment. But Ohtani was not finished. His 5th RBI came later in the game, a perfectly placed single that drove in another run and twisted the knife even deeper into the opposing defense. By the time the final out was recorded, Ohtani had not just contributed to a Japan victory. He had dominated the narrative of the entire opening round. 5 RBIs, 1 grand slam, one performance that will be talked about for years. When the U.S. national team manager stepped in front of the microphone after the game, the room was quiet. Reporters waited. Cameras rolled. Everyone expected the standard post-game response. Talk about adjustments. Talk about preparation. Talk about what the team needs to fix. Instead, what came out was something far more honest, far more revealing, and far more powerful. There's no way to stop him. He did not qualify it. He did not soften it with tactical language or diplomatic framing. He simply stated what every opposing manager in baseball already knows privately but rarely says out loud. When Shohei Ohtani is locked in, when he is carrying Japan's flag on his back and the WBC stage is beneath his feet, he is simply unstoppable. But the manager did not stop there. His comments went further, and those additional words are what have taken over sports media in the hours since the game ended. He acknowledged that his pitching staff had prepared specifically for Ohtani, that they had studied his swing tendencies, his weaknesses against certain pitch movements, and his patterns in high-pressure counts. And yet, he admitted, even with all of that preparation, Ohtani found a way. We did everything right. Our pitcher executed the plan. But Ohtani is on another level. He makes adjustments mid-at-bat that most hitters cannot make across an entire series. You can have the perfect plan and he will still find a way to beat it. Those words are not just a compliment. They are a scouting report. They are a warning to every team remaining in the WBC bracket. Because if the United States, one of the deepest and most talented rosters in the tournament, cannot contain Ohtani even with maximum preparation, the question shifts from how do you stop him to how do you survive him. There is a reason Ohtani's WBC performances consistently exceed even his extraordinary regular season numbers. It goes beyond talent. It goes beyond physical gifts. It comes down to motivation, identity, and the unique emotional connection he has with representing Japan on the world stage. In the regular season, Ohtani carries the Los Angeles Dodgers. He performs for a franchise, for a fan base, for a city. And he does it brilliantly. But at the WBC, he carries an entire nation. Every swing, every pitch, every moment under those lights is for Japan. For the fans who grew up watching him in Nippon professional baseball. For the young players who dream of following his path. For a country that has always known he was special and has watched him prove it to the rest of the world. That emotional fuel creates a version of Ohtani that even the most detailed scouting report cannot fully prepare for. He is more focused, more locked in, and when he reaches the big moments, the grand slam situations, the bases loaded counts, the game-defining at-bats, he rises to them in a way that borders on the supernatural. The 2023 WBC already proved that. His final at-bat against Mike Trout, a moment so cinematic it seems scripted, is still considered one of the greatest competitive moments in baseball history. Now, in 2026, Ohtani is adding another chapter to that legacy. And he is doing it immediately, in the opening round, sending a message that echoes throughout the entire tournament. Ohtani's performance does not exist in isolation. It is the centerpiece of a Japan roster that has been assembled with one clear purpose: win the 2026 World Baseball Classic and defend the championship they claimed 3 years ago. Japan's roster this cycle is deep, balanced, and built for tournament baseball. The pitching staff is one of the most talented collections of arms Japan has ever assembled for international competition. The lineup is disciplined, aggressive, and structured to support Ohtani rather than rely entirely on him. But make no mistake, when Ohtani is performing at this level, the entire dynamic of the team shifts. Opposing pitchers must choose between challenging him and facing the consequences or pitching around him and allowing Japan's deep lineup to do damage. There is no safe option. There is no comfortable decision. Every choice carries risk, and that pressure cascades through the entire opposing bullpen and defensive scheme. Japan's coaching staff understands exactly what they have. They have constructed the lineup to maximize the protection around Ohtani, ensuring that opposing managers cannot simply avoid him without paying a price elsewhere. It is a chess match, and Japan came to this WBC prepared to play several moves ahead. Within minutes of Ohtani's Grand Slam, social media exploded. Highlights circulated across every platform. The slow-motion replay of his swing, the ball launching off his bat, his measured home run trot around the bases, became the most shared sports clip of the day globally. Former MLB players, current stars, coaches, and analysts all responded the same way. Disbelief mixed with awe. Because even for people who watch Ohtani regularly, even for those who have seen him do extraordinary things across multiple seasons, this felt different. The stage, the moment, the magnitude of it all amplified everything. International sports networks that rarely dedicate significant coverage to baseball interrupted their programming to show the highlights. The WBC, already building momentum as one of the most anticipated tournaments in years, suddenly had its defining moment. And the tournament had barely even started. As the opening round continues and teams begin to feel the full weight of what awaits them in the bracket, one truth has already been established beyond any reasonable argument. Shohei Ohtani is not just the best player in this tournament. He is playing at a level that has no clean comparison. He is a grand slam in the opening round. He is 5 RBIs before the tournament has found its rhythm. He is the opposing manager standing at the microphone and admitting, without hesitation, that there is simply no way to stop him. For every team remaining in the 2026 World Baseball Classic, that is not just a scouting report. That is a warning. And for Japan, that Grand Slam is not just a highlight. It is a declaration, a signal sent to the entire world that the defending champions have returned, that their best player is locked in at the highest level, and that the journey to another championship has already begun in the most powerful way imaginable. The world asked what Shohei Ohtani could do on the biggest international stage. He answered with one swing, and the entire world felt it.